Hi guys, Berry Babe here. I'm incognito. No, I'm in the campground. I vlogged yesterday and I gave you a gorgeous view of Little Traverse Bay, but between the waves and the wind, you can't hear anything. So I may put it on at the end of this, but I think I may talk long, so I may just put it in part 2. You can't hear anything, but it was a vlog that was done before the Young Americans Performance Dinner Theater last night. It's a very different vlog than the one I'm doing today. I did not bring my scale with me. I had planned on it, and at the last minute, ADHD brain, I just forgot it. I had every intention of staying very much on plan, but you know what they say, the road to hell paved with good intentions. Yesterday I was down in the 161, I think it was 0.4, which was a 0.4 net loss, which had me feeling really good. One of the concessions that I made to not eating crap on this trip was to drink Diet Coke. So I was sucking and sucking and sucking the Diet Coke. So I was pretty full of carbonation. Had RNY with a DS twist, and I was feeling pretty full. Didn't do my evening protein before the dinner meal because I was just too full. I hadn't eaten anything I shouldn't. So I did get the end cut of the prime rib. The performance was incredible. The rolls were too. They came, they were all tied up in a cloth napkin. They were very small, but very dense. And I thought, I'm just gonna touch them. Stupid, touched them, just a little taste. Pretty good. Now I've been carb starved for a long time, and it was good. By the end of the evening, I had, I think, at least 3. I've lost count. There was a little teeny, you know how they do those shishi? There was a huge piece of meat. Teeny little scoop of mashed potatoes. Yeah, ate that. And then they brought dessert. They did Act 1 first. The actual Young Americans are the waiters and waitresses, and then they go up on stage, and then at intermission, bless their hearts, they deliver dessert. And it was a little, about the size of a large cupcake bottom, chocolate something with a little chocolate on top and a leaf on it. Little squirt of whipped cream. My stupid husband ate the leaf. He says, that was the last bite. He said, I tried not to eat it, but then it was gone. I ate my chocolate. And then the 2 people next to us were previous Young Americans, and they were gone during intermission, chit-chatting, because they were visiting with people they had known. And I kept thinking, you know, I ate that chocolate, and then I kept thinking, I wonder if they're going to eat theirs, and if they eat theirs, am I going to take it, and how am I going to graciously take it? I still had a spoon. I gave up my fork, but I still had a spoon. Well, they came back. The girl came back first, and these kids are both out in LA doing auditions, trying to get into the business as previous Young Americans. They're very talented. And she's very slender and a sweetheart. And she begins to eat her cake, and I'm surprised because she's very thin, and I didn't think she'd eat cake. She took 3 bites and then set it to the middle of the table. And I thought, that's how she does it. She just takes 3 bites and then she's done. And then I began to obsess over the rest of her cake. And there's 2 tracks going on. The one is saying, my mouth wants that. The other one is saying, what the hell are you doing? You're obsessing over somebody else's leftovers? No, this is not the way you want to be thinking. But that's my crazy, fucked up carb brain. And so if we had walked out and we are up, there was a Grand Traverse Pie Company. We're very near Traverse City, Grand Traverse Bay. We were at Little Traverse Bay. But they had closed by the time we got out. And so I still had to make 2 stops, one at a convenience store and one at another location, to get the things that I felt like I needed to eat before I was done. I said to my husband, you know, once we get back to the campground, I'm done. Well, the campground was only 5 minutes away, and I couldn't eat what I had by then. So I said, okay, end of the night. I've done this before, and then I get up in the morning and there's dregs left over, and then I start in again. So here's where it was a little different for me. I had an RNY, which is gastric bypass, which makes a pouch, but I wasn't able to be successful with that because I learned how to eat around it. So then I had on the bottom the duodenal switch. They didn't convert me back to the sleeve stomach, they just left the pouch. It was only because my pouch got too full that I stopped. And I said to my husband, who goes to bed early and tends to get up earlier than me, if this is still here in the morning, please destroy it before I wake up. Well, okay. So, but I did get my brain back enough to destroy it myself when I went to bed. Now, if that was the end of the story, I have been very good for a very long time, and you have heard about my trials with constipation. Well, I don't have a trouble with constipation when I'm eating crap. Oh, and yesterday I ate the crap and more crap. So first it was, and this is TMI, if you really do not want to hear graphic digestive stuff, it's time to quit. Hit the gas. And because, you know, everything sits in my stomach above my waist, my midsection just blows up like a balloon. So thank God I had Gas X in my purse. So I took some Gas X, and then I'm tooting up a storm until it's no longer toots. You know how they say you can't trust a fart? Yeah. So then the DS portion kicked in, and I had raging diarrhea. So needless to say, I didn't get a whole lot of sleep last night, so I look a little bit like death warmed over. I had taken a Valium because I don't sleep well the first night I'm out in the campgrounds. So here I am, kind of stoned. I don't do those. I have like 30 pills a year, and I don't ever use them all. I just save them for special occasions. I'm kind of stoned. Oh, before this, I get a cramp in my foot and my ankle, which I don't know. I'm going to have to think if that's related to what I ate, because I haven't had one in a long time. But sometimes when we drive, the way I hold my foot, so my right foot, just kind of ankle, kind of toes, kind of curl. And if I stand straight, I can flatten it out, but then when I lift it up, it curls again. So fortunately, I had some arnica, and I put it on that, so that helped that, and then the gas, and then the other. So, oh, and I forgot that my husband, we had gone to Walmart. We always have to go to Walmart when we're on vacation. And he had found, he loves these teeny little petite pretzel sticks they have, and I don't really care for them, except last night I had some. Well, he was not going to bring them into the trailer, but I said I would like some, so they were there this morning, and I'm sleeping, and it's getting later, and he's been up a while, and I hear rummaging around in the bowl, and then crunch, 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 and I may have some hear loss, but I can hear that. Rumble, rumble, crunch, 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 rumble, rumble, crunch, crunch, crunch. So I said, you know, I can hear you crunching. So then he tried to crunch quietly, but I could still hear him rummaging around to pick up the pretzels. So finally I said, you know, I appreciate that you offered not to eat those because I was on plan. I wasn't on plan last night. I'm trying to get back on plan now. And so he tried to quit. So this morning, later he said, I'm sorry about the pretzels. He said, I was trying to resist, but they were calling to me. I said, I understand. They were screaming at me. So this morning, well, it was 11 o'clock, 10:30 by the time I rolled out of the sack. And I hadn't slept that whole time because today's Monday, people were closing up and moving on. And I didn't do morning protein, but I did a double hit of yogurt. Now that's a lot of carbs in the strawberries, but I thought, you know, my body's screaming for the carbs because of last night. So if I give it okay carbs, but just more of it, then maybe that'll help me step down. I'm not pleased. I don't have a scale. The trailer is not totally level, so I probably wouldn't have gotten a good reading anyway. I don't want to know the damage. I'm hoping I can just hang on until I get home, and then maybe by tomorrow or the next day when I get on the scale, I will have recovered from at least part of the damage, so I'll never know what I did to myself. I'm disappointed, you know, but you know, I am who I am. It's just scary to me. I definitely was in the deprivation mode. I know Robin talks about that you feel so deprived. It was like, okay, if this is the only night I can eat, then what am I going to have? What have I got to have so I can go back into the trenches? So this addiction, it really is an addiction. And I know that, and I was right with the cupcakes. One bite and I'd have been off. So today is going to be a fight. I don't know, it's $75 a night to stay here. It's a gorgeous campground. It's very full usually, you know, the spaces are very close together, but they have them staggered so that the people sitting in the campsite next door aren't directly out your bedroom window like they are at the lake. And the weather's gorgeous, but there are so many feed me triggers. So I don't know, it's 4.5 hours home. I don't know what we're going to do. We're going to see the Music Man that my sister-in-law is in, and we're going to be meeting up with my other sister-in-law and 2 of the nieces, and the sister that's in the performance probably won't be available because they do an evening performance as well, but the other ones may want to go out in the meantime, and if we go out, will I be able to abstain? I don't know. Every person there is extremely overweight. One of the nieces has had RNY, but she's large again. So, you know, I don't know. I don't make any promises. I'm just gonna take it as it comes and try to do my best and struggle to get back on track. So it's awful for me that last night, in the midst of that wonderful performance, and it really was wonderful, and the costumes were wonderful. My sister-in-laws and my niece had done a wonderful job. They did excerpts. Part of what they did were excerpts from the musical Hamilton, which I'm not familiar with at all. And the director had bought pirate costume jackets, and they had to make them into Revolutionary War men's coats. And they had done a marvelous job. They said there were 24 buttons or 48 buttons or something on one of them. It was remarkably ridiculous. But they had lace for the weight. They made ascots and lace cuffs, and it was just incredible. So I'm sitting at a picnic table with my back. I'm not real isolated, but there's nobody out. At the KOAs and other campgrounds, a lot of times retirees can earn their campsite by doing work around the campground. And so any of the KOAs I've been to, well, one in Florida and one here, there are little old men on little golf carts that drive around and do work. You know, you get escorted to your campsite by a little man in a golf cart. And so I had to stop the previous vlog, because there was a little guy coming by on the golf cart. And I'm sitting here at a picnic table. I didn't bring my tripod. I have a puzzle that's propping a selfie stick, and so I got the selfie stick and I'm holding it, and it's right here, and but it's working. And so I don't know if I'd be able to hold a selfie stick. I don't have to at least do this. But I feel a little silly. When I was in Washington, D.C., there were a group of young people walking around behind their selfie stick, that they're walking down the sidewalk and this selfie stick is out in front of them. So I'm getting close to my time limit. I will not be able to link the lake video, but I'll put it on separate. And so I'm, fingers crossed, I still am watching vlogs. We have Wi-Fi here, and appreciate all of you that are still doing it. So bye for now.